Hello to all the lovers out there, and welcome to another episode of Ask Juan and G here on LoveWorks. I am your boy Juan. This is my lovely husband. You know, he shaved off his mustache today, and I normally don't like it.
Today? Well, Ben cut my mustache off.
You shaved today, is what I'm saying.
Oh.
You had a beard for about a week. And I normally take a little time to get used to it, but I'm loving your face right now.
I had a little shadow going on this morning.
So we're just going to jump right into this week's question.
All right, the writer writes, Hey Juan and G, I am writing today because I have a dilemma. My boo and I have been together for over 3 years. I think we have a great relationship and know that we will last a lifetime.
I know somebody.
With this being said, there has been some things on my mind that I am not able to communicate to him. When we first got together, we both checked for STDs and showed each other our paperwork.
Good.
That was good.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, we have not had any testing done. My partner seems to think this is fine because we are in a monogamous relationship, but I think differently. Aside from this issue when we first got together, I also did not have interest in certain things sexually, and neither did he.
I wonder what those certain things are.
Well, I won't get into details.
Oh.
But long story short, I am now having new desires. How do I bring up both of these concerns to him without causing distrust or making him upset?
Well, I want to first of all commend you for even taking the step once you got in that relationship to get tested and show each other your paperwork. That I think that's very, very, very important.
Responsible.
I think it's very responsible, and everyone should take a lesson from that. And even if you're just dating someone, I think it's important to have these conversations about your sexual health, about STDs, about HIV, and just open up the dialogue, and it takes away the stigma, and it makes it more comfortable for you moving forward in that relationship. So I think that's great, first of all.
Right.
And I think that it's great you want to continue getting tested. You know, a lot of people sometimes think they're in a monogamous relationship and getting tested for STDs or sexual transmitted diseases, which is an STD. You know, that kind of is pushed to the wayside. Your priorities shift, and you get caught up in the hustle and bustle, the everyday, day in, day out of your relationship, that kind of gets pushed to the wayside. So kudos to you for wanting to continue taking accountability for your health.
Yeah, I think that a great foundation, as Juan said, but now how do you bring up getting tested together again? And how do you bring up these new sexual desires in your relationship? In my opinion, and I think desires change all the time. I think a lot of times we get into relationships and we think that, okay, he a top, I'm a bottom, it's going to be like that for 35, 40 years or however long we're together. And that's just not reality. The older we get, hopefully the more comfortable you become with your sexuality. And sometimes a lot of inhibitions are brought down, so that allows you to explore other desires. So I don't think that you should ever go into a relationship expecting the person is going to be the same way 30 days from now, 30 years from now, 30 weeks from now. And
that's really difficult to do because, you know, you meet someone and you fall in love with that person, who they are today. And as they evolve and as they grow and as they change, if you aren't continuously falling in love with that new person, then you're stuck living in the past.
Right.
And you're holding them to a standard that no longer exists within their life. So you have to be aware of that.
Right. So, like, how do you bring this up now? So I think you bring it up just like that. It's the most important conversations are probably always the most uncomfortable. It's going to be an uncomfortable conversation at first. It's been 3 years now. You guys have not talked about this, but I think you just bring it up. You say, you know what, boo? Obviously not when you're feeling sexually strained or there's some sort of frustration going in a relationship.
Right.
But I think you maybe talk about it casually over dinner or around the house. Or even maybe if you're watching something on TV and you might want to say, oh, I might kind of want to experiment with that. That might be a segue into the conversation.
Something that G and I do personally is we say truth moment. You know, if I know that I want to speak to G about something that may be touchy, or I don't know how he's going to quite react, because that's another thing. You're predicting that your partner is going to react a certain way. So you're adding this stress onto yourself, probably for no reason. But if you know it's a touchy subject or you don't know how to quite address it, we say truth moment.
Right,
So
and we got that from Derwin and off of the game. I don't want y'all to think
we didn't make that up. And we wrote about this before too. But so I'll go to G and I'll say truth moment. So he already knows that I want to talk about something serious. I don't know how he's going to react. So it's already set up. So he's getting his emotions in check, so he doesn't fly off the cuff or whatever. He's just preparing himself to receive whatever I have to say, or vice versa. And it kind of makes the conversation so much more easy.
Yeah, because you're then prepared to hear something you probably don't want to hear. And you kind of prepare yourself.
Well, and it's something that you've agreed upon already. So you're on common ground at that moment.
So I actually think that's a good time to take a break. We have a special surprise for you guys after we come back. But look at this message from our sponsors. What's up to all you lovers out there? It's Juan and G. And we thought this was a great opportunity to encourage all of you lovers out there to go deeper into your relationship and take part in the Emory Strong Together campaign.
Yeah, oftentimes, you worry about your physical fitness, your six-pack abs, your bulging biceps, but once you get into a relationship, your sexual health kind of takes a back burner for some people. And we want to send a message out to you to let you know that sexual health is just as important as your physical fitness.
Exactly. So take responsibility for each other's health, go deeper into your relationship, and go to strongertogether.us and take part into the campaign.
And if you're eligible, you could even receive $80 for your time. Once again, that website is strongertogether.us. That's strongertogether.us. Go deeper.
Peace.
Welcome back to Ask Juan and G here on Loveworks. And joining in on the discussion here today, we have Jasper Barnes of Emory University. Say hello to the people out there, Jasper.
Hello, everyone.
All right, and tell us a little bit about what you do over at Emory.
I am the Senior Research Project Coordinator in the Department of Epidemiology at Emory University. So some of my responsibility, how it relates to why I'm here today is originally when I was hired, I came in as a counselor for a couple's HIV testing and counseling intervention. What that looked like is, I know many of you have already been tested before, so most people would come in and they would get tested. They would test individually, even if they came in with their partners. So what we did is we created an intervention that you could actually bring your partner in and get tested with your partner. But not only would you get tested and learn your results together, you would actually have a very robust conversation about your agreements. When we talk about agreement, we mean like sexual agreements. So are you going to be monogamous? Is your relationship going to be open? Are you going to have parameters around the openness of your relationship if you have an open relationship? And we found
familiar.
It sounds like the session that we had when we went through the Stronger Together counseling session.
Yeah, so that was the Stronger. So Stronger Together is a current project that we have that was built off of work that was done with the original project that I was a part of. And from that project, I've roughly counseled about 200 couples in Atlanta. So I do have some experience. Just a little.
Which is why we thought it'd be a great idea to bring you in to help answer this question. I think it's important to be responsible in answering the question, and what better way than have an expert come in and talk about it?
Absolutely.
So on a part of this question, as you were sitting out there when we were talking, you heard this particular individual has been in a 3-year relationship, and they got tested initially, but they stopped testing since then for all STDs. So he thinks it's important for them to continue to test, even though they're in a monogamous relationship, but his partner does not, because they are in a monogamous relationship. How would you answer that question? I mean, how would you advise him that he brings that up?
So one of the things that I would suggest is that one, they could either use the format that we already have, because I think you alluded to this earlier, a lot of times people find it very difficult to have these conversations with their partners, and we do find the most important conversations are typically the most difficult conversations to have. So we do have a counselor that will help facilitate the conversation. If that's not something that you want to partake in, I would say, just having a sit-down conversation with your partner and trying to hash out those details. And again, that can be very difficult because I do think when you have two people in a relationship, people come from different points of view, and we've kind of coin the term monogamish, where, you know, people will have a view or an idea of what monogamy means to them, but their partner may have a completely different concept
And
of
you should
monogamy.
not assume.
And you should
You
not
cannot
assume.
assume. You cannot assume. Not should not. You cannot assume.
And I think what we find is that people go into relationships with this understood agreement. So, you know, for me, relationships look like this, so this is what my relationship is going to look like, without having that conversation with their partner.
Right.
So to you, young man, I would suggest that, you know, maybe just using this form that we already have set up, and it's a really good way to introduce the concept or the conversation about agreements to partners. You know, so that would kind of be a suggestion.
Well, you know, and right, because where you can maybe say you want the quick $80. Let's sign up for this study. Let's actually be a part of the community and help build a stronger community. And then you knock all these things out at once, because now you have the counselors bringing up these conversations and asking these questions. And that would be a perfect way to just open the door for that conversation.